In this episode, we talk about conducting site visits. I'm Jim Ross. He's Matt VanHorn. And this is 3 Mile Domination, where we talk about anything and everything regarding the world of self-storage. All right, thanks again for joining us for 3 Mile Domination. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Been a nice, long, fun day, but that's a day in the life of in the self-storage business.
Yes, it is.
Who said it was boring? It's sexy as hell.
It's never boring.
Anyway, let's go on with what we've been talking about so far with owners looking for a self-storage manager company and kind of the questions that they can be using and what to look for when they're basically looking to hire for as a manager company. And part of that, really important, is when it comes to the site visits. And more often than not, that kind of falls on the shoulders of that regional manager that's over that property and doing their monthly visits or whatever you've talked about how often those visits should be occurring. But with those site visits and having some accountability on what's actually being done when those managers are going out for those site visits. Last thing you want to do is having a regional manager go out there for a site visit, and basically you're paying them to do that, and you just want them to just be going out there and just having conversations and just sitting down and how are things going? Looks good, and then getting out of there. You want some kind of reporting that ultimately should be included in your month-end report of what's being done when that regional manager is on site. So we kind of wanted to take some time and go over what such a report should entail.
Right. I mean, I think when it comes down to site visit reports, you and I have been doing this for, I don't even know how many years.
We're old. Too long.
Yeah, when it comes to that, it's really one of those things that the site visit reports, as much as the owners may like them or even want to look at them, they're more for me, in a sense. Because when I'm visiting a site, and Jim, you know this too, it's kind of a record for me to go back and look. I go back and look at the past visits. Now things have changed. When you and I first started, we printed these things out, carried them with us, we filled them out, and we put them in a big binder. Now they go into Excel sheets or and then whatever task management, phone or whatever type of task management software that is that you use.
Yep.
And if you're a Mac person, I mean, you and I both have some Macs. I have Windows 2. I like OmniFocus for the iPhone, for the Mac, and for my iPad. But there's tons of them. Todoist, whatever checklist program thing you like, project program you like.
Sure.
And for me, it's just to be able to go in there. Okay. When I'm there, I just want to, it's a snapshot. I mean, it's a moment in time of what's going on right that second. I mean, things might be bad. Things might, you might walk on the property and a car drove through your office. I mean, that's a moment in time of something bad that happened, or some customer, not too long ago at one of my properties this year, we had, 2 customers decide to fight in the parking lot.
Do you have it on video?
No, we don't have it on video. But, fun enough.
I see that.
And, so these are moments in time. So when you go on the property, I'm looking, are the managers basically doing everything that we've talked about in the last couple of videos, last couple of podcasts? Are they dressed in their uniforms? Is the office clean? Is the property clean? Are the maintenance items being taken care of? You can audit the paperwork and the petty cash and the till. Are the leases being signed? Pull out the last 10 leases that were rented. Are they signed? Are they filled out correctly? Does it have all the paperwork? Do they have the insurance paperwork? All of those things. Go through the drawer. Does petty cash balance out, or do you have IOUs in there for gas or lunch or whatever else is in there? And the till, does it balance compared to what you've taken in for the day and all that kind of stuff? So when you're talking about that, it's more about not so much the stuff you can do in your office, but just the feeling of how things are flowing on site. I've sat there and listened to the managers answering the phone. Now, of course, if you're there, they're always answering it the right way.
But behavior. Yep.
You can see how they work with customers, especially with trainees and new people that you brought on. You can see how they're interacting with the customers. You can just spend some more time in the office, because I can tell you that if somebody, a lot of times, sometimes managers will be nervous anyways, but a lot of times if they aren't doing what they're supposed to be, then, there's a certain level of nervous that gets pumped up.
Exactly, and I was going to touch on this of I like to do my site visits.
Excuse me.
Just show up. Don't
Yep.
tell them in advance. So, okay, I'm going
That's
to be
the
there
best
next
way.
Tuesday, this time, have these things prepared. No, I just go unannounced visits. Because like what you, and I don't want to paint a bad picture of or trying to catch, a manager
No.
doing something wrong. However, if those managers are doing something that they shouldn't, unplanned visits, unannounced visits are the best way to catch that. Because like you just said,
Right.
as soon as you walk in, you just feel that tension of something's up. And I generally like to do these visits just prior to payday. Because that also, you alluded to this as well, is checking on the petty cash and make sure it balances out. Again, we've been around quite a long time, Matt. We've had these. I know I've had some experiences with this. You have too. And we've done our best to hire the best managers.
Right.
We try, but it happens. Sometimes you get a bad apple, and you get some managers that take a little thing here, and they'll pay it back. And what I was alluding to is go there prior to payroll, because sometimes they'll pay themselves out of petty cash to tide them over until payday hits. And I've had that happen a few times. Well, I'm just going to pay that back, and yeah, you may have good intentions, but you still stole from us.
Yeah, and we're not talking, when Jim and I are talking about this, we're not saying don't help your employees. That's not what we're saying.
No.
Yeah, what we're saying is that people that take liberties with things that they should not be taking liberties with,
Yep.
Your money. And, it's just something you have to watch. When we go in there and count this stuff, it's not we're trying to catch anybody. It's just checks and balances. That's all.
Well, checks and balances, and again,
It's the whole trust but verify type thing.
that's why the owner is hiring
Correct.
the company, is to be the eyes and ears, for that property, make sure things are being done correctly, accurately, ethically, make sure everything's being followed. So that is what our job is, to just make sure everything's being done correctly.
Yep.
And again, we're not going into this with intentions of catching someone doing something wrong. We just want to make sure everything's being done correctly, and that's the bottom line.
Right.
So really, going through operations and make sure everything's being done correctly, and then go through some sales calls. And again, next thing is, as basic as it sounds, is doing a thorough walkthrough of the site. That's
a real walkthrough.
A real walkthrough, exactly.
Right. We're not talking about the ones where you walk around and look and make sure everybody has a lock on there. I mean, that's important too, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yep.
We're talking about printing out a rent roll, going out on the property, and checking each and every one to make sure that if it's vacant, and if it's rented, it's got a customer lock on there.
Yep, exactly. And again, it's as simplistic as that sounds, it does take time. And that's a lot of reasons why I've seen a lot of other companies just kind of overlook that, and just like we just said, they just do the quick walkthrough to see if it's rented, there's a lock on there. If it's vacant, there's a lock on there, and call it good. No,
I mean,
you want to be rolling up doors
every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had properties where it takes an hour and 40 minutes to do a walkthrough. If you do it correctly. If you've got 1,000 units, it's going to take a while.
Sucks.
It's not fun. But, and I'm not saying you have to do it every time you're on the property, but you should be doing it at least somewhat regularly to where people know you're checking. Because that's really what this boils down to.
Oh, yeah.
All you really want to know is to make sure that this is being watched. The till is being watched. Petty cash is being really watched. We're going to, it's being watched. We're going to grab a rent roll and we're going out and check, because those are, 3 areas right there where embezzlement occurs.
Yep. No, exactly.
With units, making people, are they locked out? Are they supposed to be locked out? Are they just collecting the money and never locking them out of the unit and opening them on the gate? Those kind of things.
Yep. And then again, this should all be documented. Again, not only for us as the management company and for yourself, is to that snapshot in time, so you can kind of compare from your visit before and see how things are going. But ultimately, it should be given to the owner on a monthly report, so they can have that information as well.
Right, and then this is also your your time period to look at the physical stuff, and this is why I was saying that it's the stuff you can do in your office, do in your office.
Oh yeah.
You can do some revenue management things and all that stuff in your office, pay bills, look at invoices, things like that. What you want to do is my property clean? Is every, we were talking about the money and till and petty cash flow, are the things that we've given them in the places they give them, is the retail wall, wherever that is, where your locks are hanging, slat wall, whatever it is you have, is the POS stuff being filled regularly, nobody likes to go into a Walmart or sports store, well, when sports store existed, or a Best Buy or something like that, and go in and see, empty shelves. You want things to be full. You want it to be presented in a retail-like environment because that's what it is. Do you have boxes? If you have them, did they stuff them in the unit and never bring them out? Or are they displayed correctly? Is the office clean? Is it inviting? Are they smoking in there? Do they have their dogs in there? Then go out on the property. Are the driveways clean? Are the doors clean? And I mean, in comparison to where you are, if it's outside, if it's in the woods, wherever you are,
Yep.
Isn't it an acceptable level to where if you were a customer, you would come in and run in it there?
Nope, exactly. And again, it's one thing you can sit behind your desk and pull reports all day long and talking on the phone with managers, which of course you want to be doing, having that communication back and forth. But there's nothing that replaces physically at the site
No.
talking face to face, walking the property, and usually towards the end of the site visit, after you've done everything you need to do, sit down for 30 minutes with that manager, then just kind of go over the report itself, any to-dos that you want to have done over the next course of the next month, for your next visit type of thing. And I've found more often than not that having a physical at the site, face-to-face conversation with the manager, it's much more effective and things more likely to get done in a timely manner than just an email or a phone call.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And then when we talked about this before, where apathy sets in. And you go in there, and instead of contracts or leases and paperwork being filed, it's stacked up on top of the filing cabinet,
Yep.
and it's been there for 4 weeks.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff. And then, like I said, all the physical aspects, the maintenance things. Are they taken care of? Is the gate system working? Are the cameras working? Is the DVR working? All these things that you need on a day-to-day basis. Do you have anything that needs to be repaired? The asphalt, any roof issues, leaks. Is your gate having problems? All that stuff is what you need to do when you're physically on the property. You can do most everything else now, which is great, because I remember when we used to have to go and, the softwares were all on site. So you actually didn't really get, other than the reports that we were mailed or faxed,
Yep.
we didn't get anything until we were on site. Those days are gone with all the cloud-based software now.
No, it's wonderful. It's nice being able to look back to see how far it's really come. I remember just being in the dark for a week, of really what was going on at the site till you got those reports that were priority mailed to you.
Right, yeah. I mean, it was, when my first storage job, when we first ran the site, it was terrible compared to now.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great.
I mean, to lock the gate out, I had something the size of, 3 suitcases that had a little tiny keypad in the middle, and then you had to, punch it in, and then my software was DOS-based, and I had a dot matrix printer. Now everything, it's amazing what you can do now. So really your site, and it's great because it's taken that part of the site visit away. You no longer have to do just revenue management when you're on the property or going through pulling reports and going through all the old reports and all that stuff. You don't have to do any of that. Now you can focus on the physical stuff because now you have QuickBooks Online or Peachtree Online or whatever it is that you're using, and you can have access to the bank stuff online, and people can scan you deposit slips and you can verify them, and you have the management software online. Whereas before, we had to go check all that. I mean, we still check it physically, but you had to spend most of your site visit doing that.
Sure.
So, and it's not like we had more time then than we do now. I mean, it was still the same. You still had to drive and go visit, but now
it's much more efficient.
It's much more efficient, but you can focus on the things that are physical that customers see when they come in versus trying to do financial stuff that you can do in your office.
Yep. Exactly.
That's the big difference.
No, perfect. Well, again, I think that's a great way to end this episode here. Anything else to wrap up?
No, I just think, like I said, with the way that the technology's gone, and we'll be doing much more on that in the future. But the cloud-based software, you can put together a report in Excel or whatever your task management software is, whatever you want to use. Store it in the cloud, and you can just pull it up when you get on site if you need it. This is a simple thing now, not like it was when you and I first started, where it was a lot more convoluted.
No, technology's great.
I used to have to carry file boxes in the back of my truck when I went to property, so I had all the files with me. Not anymore. Now it's all on an iPad.
Yep, I had like 40 pounds of Ream boxes in my trunk. I remember that.
Yep.
Again, bottom line is technology's great, but it's no substitute to an actual physical on-site visit. So,
no, not at all.
There you go. All right, let's wrap this one up. And until next time.
Sounds great.
Bye.
Have a good week, guys.
See ya. Go to 3miledomination.com/call to schedule your free 30-minute marketing tune-up call. I'll give you solid advice you can easily implement with or without us. Until next time.